don't give away the big plot point where the story kind of, or you didn't even have to mention that the assassins are after him. Let's just say that, an assassin has assassins after him. You could script up a fine trailer, not change much at all without giving out these details. I feel like this movie's already given away and kind of spoiled going into it. What is up, everyone? Jim Alexander here with Real Talker. And yes, The Killer's Game is what I will be reviewing today, starring Dave Bautista, Sofia Boutella, Terry Crews. You see the names up top. It is a thrill action ride, blood and guts, all of the above. So take a look at the trailer, and then I'm going to delve into it.
Getting these really bad headaches.
Are you okay?
I've got some bad news. It's terminal.
I need a contract executed.
Who do you want retired?
Me.
I've thought about doing this for years. You killed my father.
Clock starts at midnight.
You're the client.
There's been a mistake. You're not going to die.
All right, The Killer's Game. Yes, so premise is pretty self-explanatory in a way. One of the best assassins out there is basically diagnosed with a life-threatening illness. He thinks he's dying. And what does he do? He authorizes a kill on himself. He just wants to go out in style and also to have his love interest that he meets sort of collect the money maybe. And, after his death, instead of since he was killed and not just died from a disease. So he orders a kill on himself, and new information comes into light. And I hate that the trailers ruined it. I think that's the biggest misstep here, is that we find out, and I'm not spoiling anything because the trailer spoiled it, that he got a wrong diagnosis, and now he needs to fend off all these assassins that are after him to kill him because he's going to live. So that's the premise of it. I don't why would they destroy this movie plot and spoiler? I mean, we find out halfway through the movie that he gets a clean bill of health, that comes through. And why would you give that away? It would be good enough. You could have clipped it up, because this movie is just plenty of action. You could have clipped it up where you just get, okay, he's about to die. That reveal comes early, and he's got a team of assassins after him, But you could have phrased it like, oh, he has a love interest or whatever. But don't give away the big plot point where the story kind of, or you didn't even have to mention that the assassins are after him. Let's just say that, an assassin has assassins after him. You could script up a fine trailer, not change much at all without giving out these details. I feel like this movie's already given away and kind of spoiled going into it, which was a mistake by whoever decided to cut up the trailer that way and make that reveal. I thought it's one of the biggest blunders about this movie there. Now, as far as the film itself, now that we know what it's about and what's happening pretty much, and what's going to happen, not much mystery there. It's technically, their main goal here was blood, guts, gore, and a lot of action, and some Mortal Kombat-like killing scenes. That's what it is. So directed by J.J. Perry, who is a professional stunt guy, basically. This might be actually his first movie that he hasn't done stunt work on, basically. So he's absolutely known as a stunt guy. I mean, very experienced stunt guy. This is actually his movie debut. So he did some second unit and assistant directing before, but he's acted. He's done a lot of stunts. I mean, some of his stunt work, movies like Mortal Kombat. So he was a stunt double there. So any movie you can think of that had the original Mortal Kombat, so 95 Mortal Kombat. So this guy's been around for a while. So he's done Mortal Kombat stunt work. He's done Scorpion King. He's done Daredevil, Firefly, the TV show. He's worked with actors. The Rundown, a lot of these things were with The Rock. So you can see sort of the the intention here, be cool with The Rock. Maybe Rock gave a word about Dave Bautista here, because he's worked with wrestlers. But yeah, the guy has a absolute huge resume of stunt work. X-Men Origins Wolverine, just a ton of stuff I'm looking over here. So yeah, a lot of stuff that you've seen on screen and any stunt work. It was probably JJ Perry heading it. Of course, the John Wick movies too. So some impressive stuff. So, but first time directing, right? So how is that going to turn out? And for a first time director, he did well because he stuck to the basics. What does a stunt guy know? Probably action. That's a guru in action right there. How to make kick-ass scenes, lot of shootouts too, and blood splattering too. So that's probably the Mortal Kombat there that he's delivering their inspiration. But he sticks to his basics, what he knows. And the story actually isn't that bad because it does have some heart to it. There's a romance in this movie that's fairly legitimate among all the craziness and chaos that goes on. And I think Dave Bautista did a really nice job with Sofia Boutella to make it sort of a sweet, believable romance between these two people who are really into each other. And one's thinking he's dying and that he wants to let her go. And he's got this pride because he's an assassin. He doesn't want to seem weak and think, but he shows vulnerability a lot here. And he kind of wants to just push her away and, disappear so she doesn't get hurt. And I thought Sofia Boutella and Dave Bautista did a tremendous job here, showcasing sort of that romantic, sweet side between them. Their scenes together are actually really likable. They're both likable characters here. Ben Kingsley plays sort of the advisor, sort of the boss of Dave Bautista's character Joe Flood, and the scenes between Ben Kingsley and Dave Bautista are excellent. They're really fun. They're sort of really good buddies, and you see that sort of buddy slash mentor relationship here that was enjoyable to watch. You sort of love the snippets of Ben Kingsley, who appears a lot actually in this movie. Some of the funny one-liners and just like this deadpan comedy that comes from him was really enjoyable. This movie surprised me in that aspect because a lot of likable characters. One, don't get attached to any bad ones because they don't last long. I mean, it just kill after kill after kill. Like it could get repetitive, but what makes it sort of flow is that they change it up. You're almost in it later on for the kills and see how wild of a kill is going to be. And there's some clever methods I haven't seen in a long time, or maybe seen in video games like Mortal Kombat. For these kills. So I thought that was innovative in a lot of ways that they did it. And yeah, it does feel very comic book sort of video game-ish too, especially the action scenes. But it works because the movie doesn't sort of stray away from it. They go into it. They know what it's about. They know this isn't going to be any sort of a dramatic piece here, and they just have fun with it. And I think it becomes fun for the viewer. I actually found it fun and enjoyable, and sort of you take it for what this movie is. It's a blood splattering sort of action movie, and with, like I said, the romance part and likable characters, and that's good enough. This is what a summer popcorn flick is supposed to be about. This is what a sort of a rated R action movie is supposed to be like. It does give some, besides the video game things, but it does give you some feel of John Wick, and that movie is super popular, and this is what you sort of get, an inspiration of John Wick, and in a form of sort of Saw when it comes to blood. This movie gives Saw a run for its money when it comes to blood and guts and gore. It really does. You see all sorts of things splattering, and even doing it in sort of a video game style, is sort of just splurt of blood and splattering all over, and it looks fake, but it's still kind of cool. Because the movie leans into it, and it's not like, oh man, that kill was so video gaming where just a head just flies off, gets popped up, or someone just completely blows up like a blob of blood exploding. But they lean into it, and it works for this sort of film. So I'm not holding that against it at all. And yeah, it's you know where it's going and you know where it's gonna end. And it's an enjoyable ride. And I think sometimes movies like this serve a purpose and know what they are. I like a movie who knows what they are and doesn't, in a sense, take itself seriously and or try to be more than it is and just leans into it. And said first time director J.J. Perry accomplishes that. And the writers here are Jay Bonansinga, who is also the writer of the novel. So this is based on a novel and it translates nicely to the screen. So that's why it does have that comic booky feel to it and video game feel because it's based on that. And Simon Kinberg, also a co-writer here. It's just kind of interesting because Simon Kinberg, widely known for all the X-Men movies, and yeah, sort of leans into a lot of these tropes and has its own unique flair to it. And you can see the gun behind me. Yes, it's Bautista trying to shoot someone up. And it just goes from the beginning. And they don't wait around here for chaos and action to start. But it all makes sense. And I think that's what ultimately means the most. You know, it sort of wraps it up, gives it a happy ending too, in that way too. But they gave it away. I thought that was the biggest mistake was the marketing because it might deter people from wanting to see it because they know based on the trailer what this movie is all about and the story plot of it, which is like at least you could have held that up. But otherwise, when you actually give it a chance, it's fun if you're into this sort of genre. So acting wise, I really enjoyed Bautista. He's done a really good job playing into what he is. I think it's a perfect kind of movie for him that, you know, he's self-deprecating. He does show a softer side here, sort of but he says he's kind of goof, a big goof with huge muscles that, you know, and I think Sofia Boutella was a really good actress to put him with here too. And I thought they played off of each other really well. It was believable in a sense, you know, because Batista wasn't trying to be a serious leading man. He was kind of being a goof and it worked. Why this woman who's like this dancer and really appealing and, you know, could probably have any other guy would kind of fall for this dopey, you know, sweet assassin in that way. So be able to, like I said, good casting here. Dave Bautista showing more layers of his work. He can do a lot of different things, and most best thing about his acting is that he kind of stays true to himself, you know. And it's interesting because I followed his career from the wrestling, you know, world, and he's really made himself a great career in Hollywood, and he just seems to be picking roles that fit him nicely. So there's that. Like I said, Sir Ben Kingsley, a lot of fun, really cool role for him, sort of just letting loose and doing a Ben Kingsley, you know, in that essence too. But some cameos here too, not only cameos, but some supporting actors you have as Lucy Cork appears here as one of the assassins. I think the assassins are pretty fun here. Who are the assassins? Terry Crews plays an assassin. And you know, you get some comedy from that aspect. Scott Atkins is one of the assassins. Mark Zaror. Geez, sometimes names hit me wrong. Marco Zaror, and of course, a personal favorite of mine, Drew McIntyre, making his film debut, playing one of the assassins. And those of you from the wrestling world, it's a nice little Easter egg there. You have Drew McIntyre and Batista in a movie together, and they cross paths in a wrestling world too. So it's kind of fun to see them sort of reuniting on screen. And Drew McIntyre really impressed me. He played a Scottish guy, and he's Scottish himself. And it was like, hey, Drew, play an outrageous version of you. You know, sort of a you know, beer guzzling sort of dork. You know, that's a big burly potential assassin ass kicker. So I thought Drew just sort of improvised and had fun with it, with this role, and they really let him kind of be him in a grand version of ridiculousness, and it worked. So it was a cool fight to see Batista against Drew McIntyre on a movie screen. And there's some Easter eggs for those of you to notice that they actually put some wrestling moves on each other in their fights. So wrestling fans will definitely get a kick out of seeing Batista and Drew McIntyre go at it and doing wrestling moves on each other, which is pretty fun. And Like I said, check out some of the epic kills here because we know the assassins are going fast and swiftly, and they're getting buried all over the place and blown up all over the place. So really cool, fun stuff all around it in that aspect. Grades wise, acting, like I said, for what this movie is, and you got to take it at its face value, you know, and for what it is, it's a 6.5 in acting because I thought they did what they had to, maybe even a 7. Obviously, I have spectacular acting, but they do well with what the script presents itself. So that's probably my lowest grade, 6.5. Could be easily a 7. Entertainment, I was entertained, 7.5. You know, nothing that'll make you think much. You know, you won't miss much even going to the bathroom because you just miss some kills. If you don't want to miss them, then stick around. But plot wise, you're not going to miss much. So, but it was entertaining. You know, if you take it for what it is, you'll be entertained. So 7.5 out of that. Plot story, I thought it was an interesting premise. Had they not given away, I would have been even more intrigued by it had it seen it play out in a movie. I just thought, like I said, the marketing destroyed that. But for a plot story, an assassin to hire a team of assassins to assassinate him because he's thinking he's dead, but then he finds out he's not. It's a fun, interesting premise. You know, I haven't really seen that before. So 6.5. You know, actually, I'll give that a 7. I'll give it a 7. I'll be generous here, and you know, I think a lot of 7s here. It feels like a movie that just accomplishes its mission. Same thing for impression. It was fun, enjoyable, cool. I'm into Mortal Kombat. It was nice to see it play out. It's a fun impression, and that's, I think, ultimately what you want to see from a movie like that. So impression wise, 7, and creative plot, I thought, you know, and creative kills, I thought they did a good job on a creativity part with the kills and, you know, the story and all that they had to. So that's another 7. I just kind of went almost 7 across the board here, which makes this like a 70% of a movie. Not perfect by any means, but for the genre, it works. It gets the job done. And like I said, if you want to see some Mortal Kombat style kills and thrills and just blood and splatter that equals or bypasses even a Saw movie, this is one to check out. And fans of wrestling, this is one for you too. Dave Bautista, Drew McIntyre making his screen debut. A lot of fun Easter eggs here too with that. So I recommend it. This was a surprise, a pleasant surprise. I thought it was going to be ridiculous, stupid. Sometimes movies like this could be ridiculous and stupid and not fun. But this one was fun. So there's that for the Killer's Game. All right. So in the meantime, what you guys can do for me is click that subscribe button. Always helps to get new subscribers. So it takes a second. So why not, right? You can get updates at least on these reviews that I do. If you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up. Oh yeah, there it is, a little thumbs up. And comment if you're excited about seeing it. You're a wrestling fan. You want to see Dave Bautista versus Drew McIntyre. You're going to get that matchup on screen. Let me know in the comment section. Or if you were also bummed out that they blew the plot of this movie in the trailers. Yeah, biggest unfortunate part about the movie. So let me know in the comments. Also follow me on social media at the Jim Alexander and at the Real Talker. And until next time, killers are out. I still have that Batista gun on the side of my head as if like this is not placed properly. Okay, I should have covered it up or something. Just looks goofy and kind of weird and funny at the same time. Anyways, I'm done talking. Till next time, guys.